there featuring Stony G, where Nairobi. We haven't played that in a while and it sounds fantastic, and I hope you're not stuck in traffic, and if you are, I hope you're enjoying that lovely tune there. At 9 minutes past the hour, 7 o'clock on this tasty Tuesday on the hottest breakfast show in all of Africa. Hashtag Jeff in the morning. By the way, that hashtag will be changing in 48 hours time. Get ready for the new one. That's going to be equally smoking, but let's keep tweeting, folks. Keep it locked at #1 as always. The 7 o'clock hour is all about talking to newsmakers, and today, folks, is a man who knows a thing or two about building roads, and building roads at a good cost or at reduced cost. And when we heard the other day that the Nairobi-Mombasa Expressway, which is about to be built or is under construction, is going to cost something like R1 billion a kilometer. I mean, this is madness. I don't know what they're going to be putting on that road. So Machakos Governor Dr. Alfred Mutua is saying, what is this? I mean, what's the road made of? We want to know more about that and other stories making news. Governor, welcome as always to Hot 96.
Asante sana, I'm glad to be here.
Good to see you.
That was a good attempt at singing, Jeff. Nairobi.
You like that song?
It's a very good song.
It's great.
It's well done. It's very clever, don't you think?
Yes.
It's well done. We've got very talented people in this country.
Absolutely.
And, you know, they need to get out there and make money, not just have talent and good looks. They also need to make money, you know. So we buffer them, they make money, you know, and then they grow the industry, employs more people, then we're good.
Absolutely.
As long as we don't start building roads that we can't afford.
Listen, Governor, help me here. Help me understand. How does a road
cost R1 billion a kilometer? For me, that is nothing but outright theft. Because, yes, engineers and contractors will want to build roads that cost a lot of money, because that's where a lot of fat is. And you see, they throw in a lot of things. You've got like 22 consultants, a consultant to wave cars off, a consultant to look at whether cows are coming, a consultant to see whether it's going to rain tomorrow. And so they have all these added costs, and then also the cost of building. But the reality is this. As a country, we have to live within our means. And yes, we may want the superhighways, we may want all the large things, but can we really afford them? And when I look at the construction of roads, and I've been building roads, and I've been working in this government, in Kenyan government for a long time, roads at R1 billion is nothing but outright theft. Because we can't afford it. You know, Jeff, we may be in a place in our country where we want big things. And for example, you know, you may want a car. So when you go to the dealership and you want to buy a car, you buy the car that you can afford. You don't just buy top of the range, you know, Mercedes-Benz, because that's a car that you think looks cool. You buy what you can afford, because a Nissan or a Toyota or a Mazda will get you from point A to point B at a different cost than a Mercedes. We seem to be going for the super Mercedes, you know, SE class, I don't know, you know, I don't have a Mercedes. ES or whatever, you know, 600, the stretch limo. That's what we're going for. And we say that's okay, because it is when the cost is high, that's when there's enough money to pass around. So this is nothing, to me, in my eyes, but just perpetuating corruption. Absolutely.
Look, let's face it, the SGR costs something like 350 billion, right? This super highway is going to cost more than the SGR phase 1?
I don't understand. And already, the funny thing is this, there's already a bloody existing road. There's already Mombasa Road. So all they're doing is just building another road. It's not that they, you know, but I think the plan is maybe, you know, tear everything apart, you know, and start from zero, because that's where the money is. You know, all they need to do is just build another road on the side of the existing road, and we have a dual carriageway. That is what it is all about, and then a few interchanges here and there. If we can't afford the interchanges right now, we can build them over the years slowly as we go by. Leave the design, have the design stage in a way that you know that you'll be able to do an interchange later. But you know, I believe, and I know, you can build a proper highway at close to 60 to maximum 100 million a kilometer for the standard of Mombasa Road. That is a heavy road that's being used. Furthermore, it doesn't add up economically. We just pumped money into SGR. Why? So as to remove the heavy trucks from the roads. So the road doesn't need the heavy trucks, the heavy, we don't need a very heavy base anymore, because we are actually moving the heavy containers to SDR.
Right.
And then we are still building as if the SDR is not there.
Exactly.
Are you with me here?
Yeah, we're still catering for the trucks.
We're still catering for the trucks.
Yeah.
We're still catering for heavy traffic.
Yeah.
Whereas already we have the SDR. Then where is the SDR there? So for me, it's a plot. Actually, the one that ticks me off is Ngong Road. You know, me, I grew up Kawangware. So Ngong Road, I know it like the back of my hand. Ngong Road has been forever. They want to extend, I think, 3 kilometers of Ngong Road at 3 billion shillings. That's a billion shillings per kilometer. Yeah. That billion shillings can transform the slums of Kawangware into something else. But they want to, you know what I mean? So we have to get, we are at a place in our country where the cost of living is rising, where things are getting difficult by the day. And I feel sorry for President Uhuru Kenyatta because he has the people of Kenya at heart, and you can see that he's fighting corruption. Yeah. But I do believe that there needs to be a conversation, and there needs to be serious looking into the cost of doing business in this country.
I think you nailed it.
Especially when it comes to government.
Yeah, Governor, I think you nailed it a moment ago when you said we are living way above our means.
We are living way above our means, and it's because of, I don't know where some of our people went to school. I love our engineers, some of them are very good, but there's a culture of a few of them that, you know, for example, I look at BQs. You know, you tell them to give you BQs for building a building, and they give you 40 million or 50 million. You walk out of the door and you walk across the street, and there's a similar building, even bigger than the one they've given you. You ask the guy how much it cost him, he says 20 million or 15 million. Yeah. But they want you to build the government one, exactly replica at 40 to 50 million. That's taxpayers' money. And so when we start hearing about 8% tax, we start hearing about 16% tax, we start hearing about taxing the, you know, the poor, and so that we can you know, bridge the deficit. This deficit is being created by these astronomical figures that are there when it comes to using the money that we are taxing our people. So people are being robbed, you know. Hii ni mugging ya mchana. It's legal mugging actually.
Left, right and center.
People are being mugged legally.
And then the Americans, being the Americans, competing with the Chinese for a piece of this country, are the ones who are about to get this deal for the expressway to Mombasa.
But you see, it doesn't matter who gets the deal. The client is the one who matters. You know, kama hata ukijengewa nyumba Jeff. You know, when you're building a house, it is not the contractor. It is you. You make the decision. Right. You make the decision whether to get the loan or not. You make the decision what you want in your house. You make the decision about how much money you want to spend. So the problem is not the contractor. We are the problem. The initial. You know, everything is just overpriced. And at this range, it's going to be very expensive, you know. But think about it. Think about it, Jeff, you know. You know, things move. Society moves according to the cost set by government. Kama barabara ni 1 billion kujenga kilometer. What will dowry be in a few months? In a few years, right? Yeah. Watu wataweza kuoa, watakuwa wanaambiwa unaona sasa hii msichana wetu ni kama SGR. Huyu msichana wetu ni kama highway, you know? Sasa wanaanza kupeg because we've raised the bar. Unaenda kuoa msichana na go let lori tano. Na kama huna unapotea. Unampatia Chinese.
Speaking of Chinese, look what they're doing to Zambia.
Yes.
Look what they're doing.
It's not what they're doing to Zambia. It is what Zambia is doing to itself. You know, I've seen a tendency to blame the Chinese a lot.
Right.
That the Chinese are coming in, the Chinese are taking over, the Chinese are entrepreneurs. And they're coming out and they are reaching out. They have a program. They want to come. But nobody put a gun in the Zambian government's head and told them to borrow from the Chinese. Nobody puts a gun in our head and tells us to enter into deals with the Chinese or the Americans or others. We choose to do it, you know. And so it's like you watch movies. You remember the Godfather movies?
Yes.
And so you go and you borrow money, and you don't pay back. And these guys come with a drill and drill your leg, you know. But you chose to gamble. Right. You chose to pick the money, you know. So you don't just blame the thug, you know, who comes and drills your leg. You also have to look at yourself. And my fear is that our children, our children, our grandchildren, we get there, are being left with a burden that is going to take them a long time to get out of because of greed and the decisions that we're making today.
That's the question I was going to allude to, Governor. Are we mortgaging this country?
I think we are starting to, and unless some of us speak out now about some of these issues, we're going to go down that path. I mean, For me, it's basic. I've asked President Uhuru Kenyatta to put together a commission, and I'm even willing to serve in that commission, to do an audit of the cost of building. Let us go to Ethiopia and compare what is the cost of building in Ethiopia, what is the cost of construction in South Africa, what is the cost of construction in Australia, what is the cost of construction in Ghana, in Tanzania, in Uganda, vis-a-vis what is the cost of construction in Kenya. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So we need to look at that. Before, they used to say that construction is expensive in Kenya because of the cost of cement. Now look, we've got more cement companies. You know, when I drive to Machakos, you know, you see Portland, you see all those, you see now the Simba Cement.
Yes,
They've got all these Savannah. There are all these companies that have come up. Now, they say the cost of cement is high in Kenya because of the cost of electricity. Aha, we just opened up the Naivasha,
Yes.
what do you call it?
Loyangalani is about to be put up, you know.
Loyangalani, from Turkana, we are feeding to the grid.
Yeah.
But also we've got the, what do you call it, the hot water.
Yes, the
guys
geothermal.
The geothermal. We've got the geothermal, it's feeding into the grid.
Right.
We've even have a deal to buy power from outside Kenya. So the cost of power is coming down. So the cost of cement is coming down. So in other words, there is no excuse at all. There is no excuse at all to have all these high costs. Furthermore, we have oil. You know, bitumen is oil. So we should be computing and saying, Turkana, we've got barrels of oil coming out. You know, those barrels of oil should be transformed into bitumen. That bitumen should be the one being laid on Mombasa Road at a cheaper cost. Are you with me?
Yes.
So it doesn't make sense. We've got oil here, we've got bitumen, the cost of power is going down, we've got cheap labor, and all of a sudden the costs are even tripling and doubling. And it's unfortunate, our country. I don't know if you've been to Northeastern.
Yes, I was as in Marsabit, as in Turkana.
You've been to Turkana, I mean, you ever drive, you get to Garissa. After Garissa, it's just, there's nothing.
It's barren land.
There's barren land, you know. And you can imagine the people of Wajir, the people of Mandera, the people of Ijara, the people of that region hearing that we are building a road in Nairobi, Gong Road, at $1 billion shillings a kilometer.
And they've never seen this.
And the children over there have never seen a tarmac road. They have never seen a tarmac road. Children go up to standard 8, up to Form 4, never seen a tarmac road. It's the same in my county of Machakos. I've got areas where there's been no tarmac road. I'm building the tarmac roads now. Children go up to 8. You can also teach the tarmac road. They have never known.
Tell me something, Governor. How much does a road cost in your county? How much do the people charge roughly?
You see, for me, when I build Kilimani Mamwala Road, it cost me an average, and these are contractors who are making profits.
Yeah.
Building to Kenha standards, supervised by even engineers from Kenya who came to supervise the layering and everything. It costs an average of 17 to 19 million
per
kilometer. So if you push it, an average, it's about 25 million. I remember I had a conversation one day at Status with Uhuru Kenyatta. Sat down, you know, and we were talking about the cost of building. And he also agreed that the average cost of constructing a normal road, C-grade road that covers everything with chippings, not asphalt, is about 25 million a kilometer at the most. But you even find that 5 to 6 of these kilometers are what in the US they call FAT, are extra consultants, are people who stand there waving flags, are people who are supposed to be spotters and others, things that are not necessarily necessary. I mean, you've been to Rome.
Yes.
You've seen Rome.
Absolutely.
You go to Italy, you see the roads that were built there before Jesus Christ was born. And they're still there. Built with rocks and stones and everything. The sewer systems at that time. They didn't have all these, you know, consultants standing there. I'm not saying that consultants are not important. But the way it is structured in a way that our people lose money. We are not there as a country. We need to live within our means. We need to protect the little we have and then diversify so that our people are not taxed, so that now we can grow the economy. Pump the money into the lower levels. That's my economics.
Governor, I don't understand this. 25 million a kilometer jumps to $1 billion. I mean, is $1 billion nothing these days? People are throwing around billions.
Well, just to be fair, you know, the roads I'm talking about, 25 million a kilometer, are roads that you call simple roads, lorries pass. Now, if you build a road with asphalt, let's say you're building a road, let's say in Nairobi, you're building Gong Road. If you're building Gong Road and it's a 7-meter road with even sides and everything, for me it should not be more than 50 million a kilometer. It should not be double. should not be more than double.
Right.
Asphalt is slightly more expensive. Whereas when I put in chippings, and the engineers know what I'm talking about, it cost me maybe 6 million a kilometer just to do the surface layer. Whereas it will cost me 10 million to put asphalt or a layer of asphalt. Even if you put double asphalt layers, it should not cost more than 50 million a kilometer. So I do not understand. So Mombasa Road for me right now, when you talk to the contractors and others, they're building at about 100 million a kilometer. Right now, they're building, you have a dual carriageway that is going on between the river and Chumvi in Machakos at an average of 90 to 100 million a kilometer. This is now to encompass the super heavy trucks. Now, we are not talking about theory. We are talking about ongoing construction to encompass the heavy trucks. Mombasa Road, grade A. So what is this now? All of a sudden, it has jumped from 100 million to a billion
a
kilometer. So what is happening to the other 900 million? Where is that going? Where is the deal being made? What is happening? You know, there may not be a deal, but really, can we really afford that?
Exactly, and people are suffering, Governor. Look at this recent VAT nonsense. I mean, yes, tax is important, but when it...
You see, for me, it's a whole regime. I think you lived in the US, I lived in the US for many years. If you want to grow the economy, you don't constrain money. You remember the reserve chairman all the time. You lower the interest rates, you open up. It's all about consumer spending. If you want to grow the economy, you've got to get people out to spend. You have to have money in circulation. Right now, Kenyans are broke because the government, instead of pouring money into the market, they're just holding on to the money. When you hold on to the money, there's no money in circulation.
Correct.
It is when there's money in circulation, when people have money to spend, consumer spending, when contracts are out there, people are being paid, there's free movement, that's when somebody comes, goes to the shop and buys a Santop or a Kimbo or something. All of a sudden, the company that makes those, if it's Bidco, realizes there's heavy demand for that product. So they have to add, supply. So when they're doing that, they employ 5-10 more people. These 10 more people are employed, now go back to buy more products. All of a sudden, manufacturing grows. But when you constrain money, there's no movement of money, so the economy just shuts down. The taxi guys don't have anybody to carry. But when a taxi guy, TaxiNet or whatever, all these companies, when they carry somebody and they get that money, when they go home, they pass that money to their families. The families go to the shop and buy something. And it goes like that, and then you're able to collect even more VAT from the products being bought. But when the taxi guys are just sitting with no money, because there's no money in circulation, when people are just sitting because no money in circulation, we're just getting poorer and poorer and getting more into debt. So what I'm saying is that we need to rethink our economics and our macroeconomic and the way we are doing things. And that is why, as the party leader of Maendeleo Chap, we are about to sponsor a bill. We are in the stages of writing a bill to the National Assembly to force the government to put aside money like what they did in the US in the 1950s. 200 to 300 million shillings per constituency. That comes to about 80 billion shillings. It is less money than the one being stolen anyway.
Correct.
And 80 billion shillings, 84 billion shillings for each constituency within 2 years to put up a factory, a manufacturing plant.
Each county?
It doesn't matter what. Put up a manufacturing plant. People say, well, you put this one here, it will fall down because we don't have the products. Well, I was in Singapore the other day. Singapore is the size of Nairobi. Singapore has about 6 million people, the size of Nairobi. Everybody in Singapore is housed. There are roads and highways. Singapore does not grow even a grape. Singapore does not even grow a maize stalk. Singapore imports everything. They import all their food. They grow nothing. They have no minerals. They have nothing. But Singapore imports the raw materials, converts it, and reships it. They're just efficient. And they are loaning. They're about to loan Kenya money. They're about to, they're in a position where they can give us money. We hire their experts here. Singapore, it is richer than Kenya. We have 40 million people with all these minerals, with the land, with the agriculture. This small country of the size of Nairobi, 700 square kilometers, is richer than Kenya many times over.
And what you failed to say or didn't mention is that at independence, they were behind us.
Not independence, my brother. 1978, when we were burying Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, they were poorer than Kenya.
Singapore
is poorer than Kenya. South Korea was at par with Kenya.
Correct.
Thailand, all these countries, Malaysia, they were at par with Kenya. They were actually sending people here for that district focus to look at development, how Kenya was doing development. They went back. Now they are giving us scholarships. Kids are going to South Korea for scholarships. They are giving us money. I mean, what a shame. They are making aeroplanes. Here we are fighting in Bunge.
Imagine.
You know, saying mapambano.
Imagine.
You know, so at times we have brought this suffering upon ourselves because of the kind of, I think, planning and thinking. But this is where we need to take Kenya to the next level.